Hey everybody, happy Monday. Good afternoon to you. It's Dave here on this July 14th, 2025. I've got all of your stories for your rush hour ride home. A little pop culture, a little politics, a little bit of love. So thanks for hanging out with us today. On today's episode, we'll be discussing Superman, their massive weekend box office, and then the first look at the new Harry Potter. That's right, we'll see what Harry Potter looks like with his little round glasses. Adorable, cute as a button, A+, I approve. And then Blake Lively gets another win for Blake Lively as the judge has granted her motion for a protective order. What does this mean? Well, again, it just means she's getting her way. That's what it means. And then after that, you know who's not getting his way? Donald Trump, as he wants the conversation around Jeffrey Epstein to be silenced, but it looks like it'll be anything but that as the conversation of the conspiracy rages on. The Daily Mail now reporting that Ghislaine Maxwell is ready to speak. Oh boy, that's not good. And then, of course, in a more, or in an equally as serious tone, we've got Alligator Alcatraz and environmentalists saying this is a disaster waiting to happen. Next hurricane that comes. And of course, it is hurricane season. So a lot of stories to get into. All of this and more starts right now on The Rush. Superman opens to sky-high $217 million at the global box office, becoming DC's biggest premiere since The Batman. Well, they said, oh, Superman better not go woke. Half the country's not going to want to watch it. Well, who the hell cares, says Superman, as the box office numbers are out of this world. Oh, you like that? Nice little Krypton joke I just did. I'm so far behind. I'm just starting to watch the 2011 Superman. I got like 17 minutes into it and fell asleep. Hey, I got a baby. I fall asleep watching anything. I don't care how good your movie is. When you have a 14-month-old that's sick and you got to use the Frida snot sucker, which by the way is a great invention, but my son hates it. You want to see him buck out of a grip, try to get the Frida snot sucker. Either you have a kid who's had a cold or you don't. But if you have had a kid with a cold, you know what I'm talking about. It's like a hose. It's kind of like a reverse bagpipe, right? It's like you gotta just suck this thing. We're hanging in there, folks. We're trying our best, okay? I could edit out a cough, but I'm going to be real with you. We've been struggling the last couple weeks. You know how sick we've been? And I got people, I appreciate you. You've been writing me. Dave, you have this, you have that. Everyone thinks I got Lyme disease, tuberculosis, COVID, long haul, short form, whatever. They think I got it all. And maybe I do. I don't know. I was in New York. I was in the subway system. I probably got it all. Either way, my immune system, not like Superman, unless someone's been sending me kryptonite. The first film, okay, so anyway, congrats on Superman. I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard mainly people say it's one of their favorite Supermans. I don't know. Well, do you guys like tomatoes? Because they're about to get expensive. I hope you got your backyard gardens going. I got one tomato in my backyard, which so far has cost about $3,000 because it's the only thing we've been able to produce since we built our garden. Boy, having your own free garden, not too cheap. And you know what's not cheap? The price of tomatoes. The price of tomatoes, they're about to skyrocket. Have a listen.
So let's start with the tomato prices. That is because of a different trade agreement that's ending today, a decades-old one going back to 1996. It's the Tomato Suspension Agreement. The White House felt that it wasn't fair to farmers here, that they were dumping, essentially selling lower-priced tomatoes into our market. So that's going to go away, possibly a 21% increase.
Boy, we don't want people to sell low-priced goods in our market. Better get it, okay, look, what are you going to do? So there it is. They're eating your cats and your dogs. They're raising the price of tomatoes. Gas is whatever. I don't know if gas is cheap or not. I have electric. But there it is. There's your tomato update. First look image of Harry Potter unveiled as HBO rolls cameras on reimagining and cast Neville Longbottom and Dudley Dursley. Did I pronounce that right for my Harry Potter fans? I mean, look, that kid is cute as a button. I don't care what you say. Not every Harry Potter's not going to look the same, but this is how you know you're old when you've gone through different generations. Like the first Harry Potter is now like old, and now we've got new Harry Potter. We're like, 7 generations into this thing. The series has unveiled a first look at Harry in his wizarding robes as cameras are now rolling on one of the most anticipated shows of the decade. which if you're excited to watch it, you'll have to wait. It will be released in 2027. But there it is, your next Harry Potter. All right, well, we have an update, as we do pretty much every day now in the Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni case. The update being the judge has granted her motion for protective order. Lively will make arrangements for opposing counsel to have a dedicated computer and the ability to print and copy documents in the space chosen by Lively. The Wayfair parties shall notify Lively of the identities of the individuals who will attend the deposition by July 15th at noon. So that's insane, right? As far as any surprise as to who will be in the room, Blake Lively, say what you want about her, and people have. She likes control, and she has been able to control. Hey, maybe she wants control of the thermostat. I know how it is, ladies. My lady loves control of the thermostat. And what temperature does she want it to be at? Whatever she damn chooses, because it's going to change by the day. So Blake Lively gets control of the thermostat. She'll have home field advantage. And, some folks are saying, oh, this judge is completely biased. And then other folks are saying, well, this is an unforced error by Brian Friedman to sort of litigate this in the press, as he, of course, was playing to Baldoni's base and, making statements about, wanting to stream this thing at Madison Square Gardens, which, of course, even though you might be completely joking around or making hyperbolic statements for effect, it's now used against you. Bottom line. And she is getting preferential treatment. Here we have attorney Katie Pope reacting live to this information. Not only that Blake Lively will get home field advantage, but also that she'll get to know who's deposing her beforehand, which you might say, what's the big deal? Well, if Brian Friedman had a trick up his sleeve, like introducing, a new bombshell attorney or somebody that, is really good at certain things. Well, Blake gets to, she gets to do her own research.
Right. Like that feels like the fair thing, especially since she's already told us where the other law office is. So you can't really say that this is like for protection of safety because it's in one of the emails. I'm a little bit frustrated by this. And
so she says it's not about safety because everyone knows where both law firms are. And again, it's New York City. These law firms have their own private entrance. You go in, you go from your car to an elevator. There really isn't it's not like there's some perp walk where you have to walk through Rockefeller Plaza to get, that's not the case.
And then the identities of the individuals. Why does she need to know? The other parties are entitled to be there if they want to be there. I don't know that they want to be there. Why does she need to know that on the 15th by noon, 2 days in advance?
And again, does that mean Baldoni will be there? Now, there is a snowball's chance in hell, or I should say not a snowball's chance in hell, that Baldoni will be there. But as we've covered, my audience has covered, Laura Owens versus Clayton Echard, we know that Laura Owens showed up to Clayton Echard's deposition. How bizarre. What a weird thing to do. She showed up all dressed up, damsel in distress. It's like, you really fear for your safety, but you want to willingly be in the room with somebody else. So either way, I don't think there'll be any big surprises, and I really don't think this will make much of a difference other than, if you're Baldoni's side, at the very least, you don't want Blake Lively to be comfortable, right? You want her to be on edge. Or you know what? Hey, maybe this would play into their advantage. Maybe she is comfortable and she says something she regrets. Either way, the video won't lie. So if they catch her, if they ask certain questions where they can catch her in a lie or having that kind of moment, remember when Amber Heard had that moment where she covered her mouth and looked at her lawyers like, oopsies. If Blake Lively has an oopsies moment, it'll happen regardless of where this goes down. But there it is. So fighting over who's going to get home field advantage. Here's an interesting story, and this is the problem with reporting and how quick and sloppy it all is. So this article came out here, I believe in the Daily Mail. Justin Baldoni claims Blake Lively is using her celebrity status to get an edge at deposition. All right, that part's fine, but check this out. How crazy is this? The first sentence. Baldoni is pushing back against Blake Lively's request to be deposed in her lawyer's office ahead of their upcoming sexual assault trial. That's definitely a mistake, but it's also super. What you're doing, of course, it's not an assault trial. It's harassment. That's like saying it's for his attempted murder trial. Completely different thing here. But now you have another article where Baldoni's name in Google search will show up next to sexual assault, which again, this is why if you're Baldoni, you're fighting these things. Your career is dead unless you can prove your innocence, period. And he knows that. And I think that's why his community fighting for justice knows that. Perez Hilton, though, was getting in the news here. Posted, I think by Deadline. Pathetic is what he called it, slamming Blake Lively after actress subpoenas Google and demands credit card details, addresses, and more than 16 micro-influencers. Yeah, that's what's wild. There were some YouTubers that got subpoenaed that have less than 300 followers. Instead of serving subpoenas on these creators directly, Blake just subpoenaed Google. Google told these creators that they may share information related to their account with her unless they provide Google with a motion to quash the subpoena submitted to the court. Now, I'll be honest. I've looked to see if I'm subpoenaed. This isn't one of those I get no respect moments, but it's like, come on, we got 135,000 subscribers. Our channel's rocking and rolling, featured in Time Magazine, and yet we're not subpoenaed? Do we not matter to anybody? Are we not influential, or have we just been really good with our covers? Now, I honestly don't think it's either. I think we've just fallen through the cracks. So either way, living in the cracks is what we will do, as we have, I guess, yet to be subpoenaed. And look, I have nothing to hide. As I've mentioned publicly, I've reached out to Brian Friedman's law firm in the past for interview, and they've never reached out to me proactively in any way whatsoever. So nothing to hide here, folks. But he says this is a pathetic, shameful attempt, I think, at intimidating and silencing smaller creators. Gross. And whether that's true or not, I mean, it's like, look, we'll have to see what this strategy is. Obviously, it hasn't stopped us from rambling about it. We go on twice a day. We'll be here to report live if and when we get subpoenaed. All right. Coming up next, we've got the real pop culture story that's gripped the nation. It's pop culture. It's politics. It's pedophiles. It's Epstein, everybody. And that story has emerged in the last week as the sort of biggest story out there, the biggest conspiracy. If it's like we still have conversations about JFK and things from decades ago. Well, this is happening right now, and it ain't going anywhere. And people are starting to talk. This story coming next.